Prince Rogers Nelson, named after his father's music group, the Prince Roger Trio, was born on June 7, 1958, to jazz musician parents in Minneapolis, Minnesota. As a musical prodigy, he began writing music for guitar and piano around 7 years old, had his first band in junior high, and had a long-term contract with Warner Brothers Studio by the time he was 20. Conflict arises between people all the time. However, this partnership between Prince and Warner Music Group had competing interests. The conflict in these competing interests caused Prince to become a focal point in the media during and after the conflict. During this 7-year conflict, Prince dropped his name to a symbol and became the brunt of many media jokes and speculation. Upon completion of the conflict, Prince took back his given name, explaining that he did not want his name affiliated with the conflict. Prince had just signed a $60 million contract in 1992 when Prince's position was that he wanted to release more music, about 450 songs, that he had created while under the management and agreement with Warner Music. Warner refused to release that many songs as they felt too much product in the market would be a commercial disaster, and they wanted Prince to uphold the contract they had just entered into with him. Prince's interests were musical freedom and unlimited potential to release his music. Warner Music wanted to retain control and continue to release music based on the norms of the times. Essentially, Prince wanted innovation, and Warner Music was not ready. A few negotiation concepts that were present in this conflict were negative emotions, autonomy, and objective criteria. The negative emotions, out of frustration from fighting to break his contract with Warner Music in the 90s, Prince dropped his name for an unpronounceable symbol and performed with the word slave written on his face. Prince also released an album upon termination of his contract with Warner Music Group entitled Emancipation. Prince wanted out due to irreconcilable differences and the unstable and ever-changing management structure within Warner Brothers Records. Regarding autonomy, Prince was seeking his own musical autonomy to make decisions for his career. He referenced the music industry as the system and the machine, and likened the industry to be run by gangsters. Prince gained autonomy on December 31st, 1999, when he was released from his contract with Warner. Prince went on to create his own website and NPG label where he made music at his home, Paisley Park. Objective criteria was used most recently when overlooked legislation, the 1976 Copyright Act, was used to return the rights of Prince's music from Warner back to Prince, the artist. The negotiation process was helped by Warner Music by staying silent and separating people, in this case Prince, from the problem when it came to the conflict. However, what went wrong in this negotiation was Prince's lack of appeal to the public as to why he was leaving Warner Music Group. In being so vocal and only addressing the what, that he wanted to release more of his music, and not addressing the why, that his fans should be able to enjoy the multitude of his songs, this negatively impacted Prince more than helping him throughout the process. It is possible that Prince may have had more supportive backing if he had spoken about why he made the choice to leave Warner Music. An agreement was not reached between the parties, but the 1976 Copyright Act was the deciding factor in Prince obtaining rights to his music. As a sunset clause within legislation, this act allows an author to terminate any transfer of rights, even if they were granted into perpetuity. Now, an artist can demand back their masters and offer them on their own website or license the rights to an online aggregator with little or no expense. This is of particular advantage to artists with established careers and fan bases, where simple ownership and possession of their digitized masters would suffice. Also, this legislation exposes the record company only within the 5-year window in which an artist becomes eligible for termination. The artist must make effective termination in writing and also file a copy of the request with the U.S. Copyright Office prior to the effective date of termination. There does not seem to be an opportunity to renegotiate in the future, as it seems to make more sense for an artist of Prince's caliber to work on their own. Prince has been noted of complaining that record execs were making more money off of the backs of musicians and taking their children to the beach often, with the artists working to pay for the college funds of said execs' children. From this legislation, Prince and other artists like him, eligible for taking back the rights to their music, can take advantage of the digitalization of the music industry today without the need to be confined to a contract with a record company. Prince has enjoyed success since the end of his agreement with Warner Music. He has been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2004, and the same year he performed with Beyoncé at the Grammys. He has enjoyed a 38-city tour where fans were able to download his album Musicology before it was released, and everyone that attended the concert received a copy at the door. It seems that despite the conflict, Warner Music is still a successful company helping new artists, and Prince is able to take the reins of his musical genius.